Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my table. You guys know whenever I'm sat here I'm going to be reacting to something, and today's reacting video is going to be a little bit different. So recently I've been really thinking about making my mouse cage completely naturalistic. I do have a few wooden items in there, but I do really love the way it looks to have everything completely naturalistic, and I also think it is really beneficial for their natural behaviours, so I really want to make their cage naturalistic. Now I have been googling ideas to get some sort of idea of how I want it to look and things I could buy for it, but I thought what better way to get ideas than to ask you guys to send your pictures in. So I asked on my YouTube community tab for you guys to send in any pictures or videos you have of your naturalistic cages, whether this is for mice or also for hamsters. I did open it up to hamster owners. I know a lot of you do have hamsters, and a few of you have asked me to react to hamster cages after seeing my other ones where I react to rats and mice. Because I don't have a hamster, I'm not going to be doing that, but some hamster enclosures are the best examples of naturalistic setups, and a lot of these ideas can cross over with mice as well. So I did open this one up to hamster owners as well, because a lot of the ideas for hamsters I can also use for my mice too. So I wasn't too sure how many of you would actually send your cages in, as this is quite a niche thing to ask for, but gradually the emails have been coming in, and you guys know how it works by now. Unfortunately I can't feature every single cage that gets sent, otherwise this video would just be very long. So I have looked through every single email, read them all, looked at all the pictures and videos you sent in, and as always I am really grateful that you guys are getting involved in sending me your cages, but I'm only going to be able to feature a few of the ones that I've been sent. Also, if you don't have a naturalistic cage at all and you were wanting to send one in, don't worry, I will be doing a normal reacting to my subscribers' mouse cages sometime again in the future, but as I am planning to do this with my girl's cage, I did just want to make this one very specific this time. But I am super excited. This video is going to be a bit different. Usually I'll sit here and react to your cages but also give some tips. Today I'm just simply going to be reacting and sharing these cages with you because I think some of these are such good examples of a naturalistic cage, and hopefully it might inspire you guys to go out and make your hamster or your mouse cage naturalistic too. So I'm going to try my best to not ramble in this video, even though that's exactly what I'm doing right now, and look at some of the emails I just hit myself in the face. So I'm going to take a look at some of the emails you've sent and try to get through as many as possible and show you as many examples as I can. So the first one is from Lottie. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She has two girls, Mary and Frida. They live together in this 1 metre, 40 centimetre, 50 centimetre tank, which has a semi-naturalistic setup. So something that really caught my eye in this cage is the spider plants. Spider plants are really good for using with mice and hamsters in their cage because they are non-toxic to them, so that is potentially something I might try, but I love that you've got that plant in there. So taking a look at the whole enclosure, something I'm really drawn to is the hanging platform you've got at the top. With mice it is really important to utilise all of that space at the top because they are really active and they do really enjoy climbing, so I think that is really cool. You've also got like a hanging log, that's another thing that I'd really love to try, and something that's really cute is you've got a little bird box. I don't know if it's attached to the back or it's on a platform, but that's also really cute. And then there's a picture of her mouse, which I think this one is Frida, having a little nibble on the end of the spider plant, which is super cute. Something I don't think I've seen anyone do before is using a toilet roll as the drinks holder. I think that's a really cool idea. And in general I just love how much you've used natural branches and things like that. And I think you mentioned in the email how you were using like a multi-chamber box. That is something I really want to try with my girls. That's something that's really common in the hamster community with naturalistic enclosures, so that is definitely something that I want to try too. So the next cage is from Zoe, and she has a hamster called Maple. Maple has 11 inches of substrate and a buried multi-chamber hide. So already just from looking at this, there's a few things I'm taking inspiration from. I just love how busy it is, and I also love how you've dotted little rocks around the enclosure. That's definitely something that I'm really tempted to try with my mice, and I also love the big cork clog you've got in the back, and also all of the like wheat sprays and oat sprays you've got dotted around. That is something I'm having trouble finding in the UK, so if anyone knows of a great place for me to purchase these kind of things, please let me know, because I'm having a hard time finding them for sale anywhere. But I love that you've added in all those little details as well, and I'm sure Maple loves going around and like foraging from them. Another thing I like is the terracotta pot you've got on its side. That's one of those things that you wouldn't necessarily think to use for hamsters or mice, but does make a really good hide. I think your sandbox area is really cute. I could utilise that for my mice by adding like cocoa fibre or something instead, and I love how you've segregated that with the wooden bendy bridge thing. I've got a few of those that I could use, so that's definitely given me a lot of things to think about. So yeah, overall I just love your cage. It's really busy and fun, and I'm sure Maple has a great time in there. So the next email is from Lee, and it says, "This is my current detox setup for my 6 mice from Burford Mousery. I believe my Texel is a younger sister to your mouse Pearl. She's currently 6 weeks old." Oh my god. Wait, I have to look at the picture. Oh my god, she is so cute. Here's a picture of her, and here's a picture of Pearl when she was 6 weeks old. They are literally identical. Oh, I wish she was still that small. So taking a look at your detail, if you've got some areas that have a lot of deep bedding, which is really good for them, and plenty of wooden items, one thing I do love and something I definitely want to do is make them a section that has just cocoa soil in it that they can dig in. I love that you've done that for them. And I also love that you've got a aquarium decoration in there. Some of these can look really naturalistic, and that was something I was really tempted. That or like reptile items have a nice naturalistic look to them. So I'm definitely tempted to see if I can pick up some of them, although they can be quite pricey, but I love that you've got one of those in there, a little log. But your mice are in there, so cute. So yeah, I love your cage, and I just love that you have Pearl's little sister. It's given me major flashbacks to how tiny she was when she was 6 weeks old. Please let me know if you have like an Instagram or something for your mice, because I would love to watch Pearl's younger sister and also your other mice grow up. So the next naturalistic cages were sent in by Vera, and as soon as I looked at these I was completely drawn in. I think it's because of the amount of plants she's used. They just look so pretty. So taking a look at the first 2 pictures, I just want to live in there myself. There's so many different plants and stuff. Please let me know in the comments what kind of plants those are, I'm really curious. But you've also got like millet, oat sprays, things like that just make it look so nice and natural, and I'm sure your hamster also really appreciates that too. You've got loads of cork bark, which I think is like a staple when it comes to having a naturalistic cage, which is good. And I think that's like a reptile hide or something. Again, that's something I'm really interested in trying with my mice. I think they'd really love that. As a hide, again, you've got a terracotta pot, lots of wooden items, rocks, things like that. Overall, I'm just obsessed with the cage. I think it looks so nice. So the next enclosures are by an Instagram account called Hamster. I follow them on Instagram, and I did actually ask them if they could send some pictures in. I think their enclosures are some of the best examples I've seen of naturalistic enclosures. Each one for their individual hamster is like its own separate paradise, and I'm just so obsessed with the way that they've set their cages up. So looking at the first picture, one thing I'm drawn to straight away is the background. They've used like an aquarium background that has like a naturalistic look to it. I would love to find a background like this somewhere, and I think it just really adds a nice touch. I'd love to get one and put it like on the back of my Detolf. I think that just ties everything in so nicely and kind of draws your attention straight into the cage. One thing I love is I think they have quite a few hamsters, but looking at the pictures it's so obvious that each individual hamster gets so much effort put into their enclosure. Each enclosure is slightly different, but they all have so much effort put into them. Looking at this picture in particular, there's like a cork bark tunnel, and it has moss on the top and moss going through, and I just think they look so nice. Looking at this picture in particular, I love the massive piece of bark you've got going through the whole enclosure. My mice would love just going in there and hiding in there and like running along the whole log, so I love that, and I'm sure your hamster really appreciates that too. So yeah, I'm just obsessed with their naturalistic enclosures, and if you guys want more inspiration, they're always posting pictures of their enclosures and their hamsters in their enclosures, so go and follow them on Instagram. Their handle is hamstersar. Definitely go and check their account out. So the last one I'm going to talk about today is from Nikki, and they've converted a 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot vivarium for their 4 mice and replaced the top with a homemade mesh top. She also says that she would like to use blanket moss, but she's not too sure what type to use. Do you have any recommendations? So I'd also really love to use moss in my mouse enclosure. I have no idea what type to use. I've not looked into it yet, but if anyone knows, please leave that down in the comments and let the both of us know. So looking at the vivarium itself, it's really, really nice, and I love how much space it gives your mice. One thing I'm drawn to straight away is the really big branches you've got in the cage. That's something I'd really like to use with my girls. I'm not too clued up on identifying trees and knowing which trees out there I can use to put in their enclosure, so if anyone would like to help me with that, feel free, because I'd love to do something like this. In general, it is just a nice busy cage, which is really good. You've got so many nice wooden items, wicker items, willow items, you've got nice coconut hides, and I just want every single thing that you've got in that cage. I think you've done a really good job of making sure it's really busy and also really natural at the same time. I think I could also spot that you've got a stone under their water bottle. That's a really good way to keep mouse nails down, because Lord knows you're not going to hold them still enough to cut their nails, so I'd love to get something like that for my cage as well. And in general, I just love the background you've got. I can't remember what it was called, I don't think I've ever heard that word in my life, but I think it just ties it all together nicely. And looking at this enclosure, it does remind me of like a display exhibit you'd see in like a zoo or something. I think you've done a really nice job of like tying everything together, and I just love it, it looks great. So I think I'm going to stop here because my voice is slowly dying, but I have gained so much inspiration from looking at your cages. I think you've all done a really great job of making them really naturalistic. And hopefully if you're watching this and you are thinking of making a naturalistic cage for your hamster or for your mice, you've also gained a lot of inspiration from some of these cages that I've shown today. One thing I will do is make like a slideshow at the end of the video featuring some of the cages that I couldn't sit down and mention individually, just so you guys can have the added inspiration from them too. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone that sent their cages in, and thank you for sitting through this video and watching it. I've got so much inspiration now for my own cage that I can hopefully implement soon and show you. But until then, please make sure you are subscribed to see any more animal content from me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!